Hello, welcome to my set review for Ashes of Outland, the new Hearthstone expansion that's coming out real soon. Okay, I'm gonna try and do a review for both standard and arena, and we're going by class and by rarity. So Demon Hunter, then all the other classes in order, Demon Hunter Druids and so forth, and Legendary, Epic, Rare, Common. So, let's get started. Starting off with the Metamorphosis, it's a 5 mana epic, legendary, sorry. 5 mana legendary spell for Demon Hunter. So, new class already getting legendary spells, really exciting. And it reads swap your hero power to deal 5 damage. After 2 uses, swap it back. So, real powerful on paper, right? It's like a 7 mana Pyroblast split in 2 turns, or you can see it has a 6 mana Holy Fire or Holy Wrath. No, it's not Holy Wrath. It's the Druid one, Starfire, right? 6 mana deal 5 with an upside. In this case, the upside is you get to repeat the effect next turn. Real cool. I don't see it being used in all versions because it's a 5 mana spell. So the Hyper Aggro is not really gonna use it, maybe to close off games, but I think they have better tools for that. But it's still a really good card. In Arena, you're quite happy to get this. It's a very flexible card. You can use it to remove big minions to gain tempo and board advantage, or just to go face and finish off the game. So really solid card. Oh, next we have Kane Sunfury, 4 mana legendary minion. It's a 3/5 with charge that reads all friendly attacks ignore taunt. All friendly attacks. So all your minions, your hero power, everything can go face, or you can trade into an annoying minion that your opponent's trying to protect. This is probably one of the best cards of the set, in my opinion. It's very flexible, it's very strong. It helps you close out games where otherwise your opponent has already stabilized. I mean, it's a 5-star card. There's not much else to say. If you see it in Arena, you're gonna pick it because it's just that good. And in Standard, I see it being run in pretty much every deck also, because it's also pretty good in control. Like I said, to remove an annoying minion. So, pretty good. Okay. Ooh, big demon now. Pit Commander, 9 mana, 7/9 taunt. At the end of your turn, summon a demon from your deck. So ideally, you want to play some mid to big minions with this guy. It's more of a probably used in maybe the token variant, where you have a lot of tokens to get you through the early games. You also have a pretty good card that counts demons by 2, so you can put it down by turn 7, turn 5 even, if you get 2 of those, and then start rolling from there. Really powerful card. I can see it being run in control. Not so much in Highlander or aggro, because it's too expensive and it doesn't have any immediate effect. So in Arena, I mean, there are some pretty big demons, so maybe not one of your first picks, but it's definitely good. So if you get it early, you may want to try and build your deck around it if you can. Pretty strong card. Not much wrong with that. Warglaives of Azeroth. Sadly not a legendary, and not as impressive as its, World of Warcraft variant, but still pretty good, 5 mana 3/4. After attacking a minion, your hero may attack again. So you can use it to clear a board, of course, for board control, but ideally you just want to like hit a minion, hit face, gain the tempo from that. It's a pretty strong card, you know. you would expect a bit more from the name Warglaze of Azeroth, as it's such an iconic weapon, but it's a pretty strong card. In Arena, pretty good. Board control is very good in Arena, so excellent tool for that. You're going to be picking it when you can. Ooh, now this guy. It's a Furious Felfin, 2 mana 3/2 Murloc with Battlecry. If your hero attack this turn, gain +1 attack and rush. Well, as Demon Hunter with a 1 mana hero power that attacks, you're gonna trigger this guy pretty often, and it's a pretty good card. It's great removal for 3 mana. Also, if you don't have anything to remove, you're just happy playing a 4/2, I think. It's pretty flexible, pretty good. I see it being run in a lot of aggro, mid-range, and in Arena, it's a really solid card. Next we have Skull of Gul'dan. Really interesting card. Really have to build a deck that uses it well. Because on one hand, you don't want things to be too cheap, because otherwise you're not getting much value, even though, let me read the card first. 5 mana, spell, Skull of Gul'dan. Draw 3 cards, and Outcast, reduce their cost by 3. So Outcast means you play the card either from the rightmost or leftmost side of your hand, and it triggers the effect, otherwise it does not. So 5 mana, draw 3 is like a Nourish, one-sided Nourish, which is still pretty decent. But you really want to activate with the Outcast on this one to benefit from it. So really good with big demons, although it can be very tricky to outcast this. When you have a lot of expensive cards in your hand, getting rid of them to make sure this is in your leftmost or rightmost, very tricky. But the payoff's pretty good, so I'm sure a lot of people are gonna try it. So you probably won't be running it in aggro, because there's a better version of it for aggro, I think. But it's still a very powerful card if you can pull it off. So definitely pretty good. I think it's pretty good too in Arena. So, ooh, okay. Talk about power. So next up we have Imprison Antaean. I think it's Antaean. 5 mana, 10/6. Dormant for 2 turns. It's very important. So dormant minions, when they come down on the board, they always turn out dormant. You can't interact with them in any way. And they take up a board space. So if you evolve into this, it's still pretty good. But if you evolve into other dormant minions, not as much. But this one, yeah, you're going to be happy to evolve into this one. Because when this awakens, it deals 10 damage, random split among all enemies. So, that card, Greater Arcane Missiles from Mage? Yeah, it was a 7 mana spell that dealt 9. 3+3+3. This is much better, and it leaves a minion behind. Wow. You pretty much want to run this in, I think, every single Demon Hunter deck, to be honest. I don't see anything wrong with this card, it's just crazy bonkers. So, 5-star card. Ooh, another pretty strong card. 7 mana, 6/7, Priestess of Fury. At the end of your turn, deal 6 damage, randomly split among all enemies. Now, this is a recurring effect, which means it has a really powerful effect the turn it comes into play, and your opponent really needs to get rid of it, or else it's gonna get really out of control. 7 mana for a 6/7, not very impressive, but the effect more than makes up for it. Really powerful card. I believe it's another 5-star card. Being 7 mana, I don't see it being played in a very aggro version. Now, if you want to go only with the outcasts and stuff. But if you want to build an aggro deck with a bit more mid-rangey, you definitely want to include this card, especially if you're able to discount it. So really powerful. Like you drop this on turn 5, it's most of the time is gonna be GG. So awesome card, real powerful. Ooh, another really powerful card, Coilfang Warlord, 8 mana 9/5 rush. So you're gonna be able to burst through any big taunts your opponent has. It's really great even in an aggro deck to, after your opponent has stabilized, just punch through their big dude, go face with the rest. And most importantly, Death Rattle, summon a 5/9 Warlord with Taunt. Wow, right? 8 mana removal that leaves a really big taunt behind. I mean, even if you don't use it as a removal, you just drop it as a 9/5, your opponent still has to deal with it, and then has to deal with what comes out of it. So, crazy, ridiculous cards. I see it being used in most Demon Hunter decks. Maybe not the hyper aggro ones, but even still, you might consider it. It's a pretty good effect and it helps you close out a lot of games. In Arena, yeah, it's an auto pick, pretty much. Unless you get offered multiple of them, then you may not want to go over 2 of these. Spectral Sight, 2 mana draw a card, Outcast draw another. So Arcane Intellect is a pretty good card, 3 mana draw 2. This one is cheaper by 1 whole mana. Crazy, right? You just need to make sure to have it in your leftmost or rightmost slot in your hand. But if you're making a really hyper aggro deck, you're gonna make that pretty easy. It gives you the gas to keep going. It's an amazing card. You may still play in other decks just to filter through a deck, but in a more controlly deck there may be better options. But still, pretty good card. One of the best tools the Demon Hunter has available to keep their hand going, keep their game plan going forward. It's an amazing card. Definitely, probably 5 stars. Next up, Fell Summoner, 6 mana 8/3, Death Rattle, summon a random demon from your hand. Now, this, I don't see it as being that good. Like, this is probably the first of the set for Demon Hunter that I'm not too confident about. Because, your opponent's gonna have to kill it, of course, because 8 power is a lot. They can't just ignore it. However, you're paying 6 for an 8/3, so ideally, I mean, it's a pretty easy minion to remove. So ideally, you're gonna need to have at least as big of a minion in your hand in order for it to be worth the mana cost. And it's a bit unreliable, I'd say. So I don't really see it being played, not even in Arena, although maybe it depends. If it's a later pick, you may want it, but it's very risky. You probably want it for like a combo, but then your opponent can choose when you trigger the effect. So I don't know. I'm not too confident about this card. Next up, we have a 1 mana 2/1 Crimson Sigil Runner with Outcast draw card. Yeah, that is awesome. It's a free 2/1 basically. It cycles itself. This is really good in aggro. This is really good in any deck really. As long as if you're trying to find a specific card, thin through your deck real quick. Awesome card. If you see it, definitely pick it. Maybe not too many in Arena. Maybe I think having more than 2 is a bit overkill. But then again, if you have really powerful cards, you may want to just cycle through these to get to those. So it may still be worth it there. So awesome cards. You're gonna see a lot of these. Next up, Ooh, 4 mana 3/5 taunt lifesteal. Talk about power creep over Senjin. Yeah, especially in a class that takes a lot of early damage, with your hero power, being very aggressive, usually clearing the way for your minions. This is a really powerful effect to have. Even in a aggro deck, I see this still being run. It's a pretty good card that actually helps a lot with your game plan because it offsets the aggressive nature of your hero power. I see this card being run in a lot of decks. In Arena, it's going to be a real annoying minion, because it stabilizes you. Like your opponent's trying to race you, and then suddenly you have this 3/5 taunt lifesteal. It's really powerful. Definitely one of the better ones all arounders. And it's probably gonna be what lets you get to the late game. Immolation Aura, 2 mana spell, deal 1 damage to all minions twice. This is really, really good, especially against reborn minions, things that, come back, or just a 2 mana, 2 damage AoE. Really powerful. Sure, it's your side of the board too, but you're not gonna play this in a hyper aggro deck. You're gonna be real happy playing this in a control deck, in a mid-range maybe. So, for your game plan, pretty good card. In Arena, I can see you picking this if you have more of a, heavy build, with a lot of big minions. This may help you survive the early turns. This mixed with your hero power can remove a 3 health minion. It's a really flexible card. Really great to have. Nether Walker, 2 mana 2/2, Battlecry Discover Demon. Not a demon itself, so you can't go infinite with it. This is more of a value generator, so not really an aggro card per se. I'd say this is more of a control-y card, to have something to trade in the early game. Probably get you a good follow-up, try to fix your curve. It's a pretty decent minion, for a mid-rangey control build. Nothing wrong with that. Pretty solid. So I feel you're gonna see this a lot, especially in Arena, because Discover a Demon, pretty good. You're on average gonna discover something better than what it's in your deck. So in Arena, if you see this card, I'd say this is a high priority card, depending on what buckets it ends up falling into. But otherwise, pretty good card. And that's it for the Demon Hunter. So Demon Hunter, obviously super powerful. It's a new class. They want you to play it, so obviously all their cards are going to be pretty broken to ensure that. Oh man. Arena, if Demon Hunter comes as is to Arena, other classes are not gonna have a good time, let me tell you that. You're gonna see a lot of Demon Hunters in Arena. So pretty much it's gonna be the new Paladin. And in Standard, you're gonna see a lot of them too, I imagine. Not only just because it's the new class, but also because it's way overtuned. Like I see these cards, most of them being possibly nerfed after 1 year. After Demon Hunter has a lot more tools, maybe they'll come back and revisit some of this power spike they're giving them right now. But for now, enjoy your OP